Oh no, I guess we're out of time. Hey, Lyran, Knife Trooper.
The hell
Oh no.
are you?
Thanks for the raids. Oh boy. Yeah, this has been, I guess, a long time coming. So yeah, tell me if there is like any issues with a mic, because once I start going, I probably won't be reading much chat, because I want to go through this somewhat smoothly at least. It's good. It's good. Okay. Let me exit this and switch to the talking scene. So yeah, that's the presentation I have made. It's gonna be a bit lengthy. Sorry for that. I'm gonna go through first. I guess what was the idea with an avatar before I reveal it. But we're gonna also go through some references first, and then I'm gonna reveal it. I'm gonna show you what it's capable of, and then we're gonna also show you what else I have prepared. Do I need to keep notes? No. Yeah, it should be 50 minutes long or around-ish, hopefully, if I don't screw anything up. But yeah, sorry for the long presentation then. So, first off, why VTubing? And yeah, wear feet soon feet. And yeah, VTubing has been mostly my middle ground between not being able to show any reactions and being on camera. As I have stated when I was going on hiatus before the when I started preparing the debut. But it's also, I would have lied if it wasn't for the community, or at least the idea what this community is supposed to be, because what this community is supposed to be is actually really cool. It's also really easy to find new people with VTubing, and with it being now popularized, it's also possible to find streamers that are more fitting your niche. Not all of them have to be extremely high on energy, as you have probably seen sometimes with my raids, where some of the VTubers that I tend to raid are a bit lower on energy and more fitting for me. But I think the most important part for me with VTubing, it's relatively easy to make new friends and express yourself in here. And I think that is kind of overlooked often a lot of times with VTubing. So let's jump to developing a model and start with the obvious. I am not an artist. I cannot draw. I am terrified of anyone seeing my drawing, and that's in part possibly thanks to the extremely bad teacher I had at school. So in the process of actually trying to come up with the model, I had to learn how to work with an artist first, and I guess I had some people to help me come up with a solution. So I created kind of a doc. More about it later. One person in this chat definitely has seen this doc too much. And yeah, I quickly realized that because I cannot exactly draw, I had to find as many visual references as possible. And I'm already. We're not dumping it on Twitter. I should stop. Anyhow, let's go with a dead end, because the first idea that I had for an avatar was a bit different. It was more of System Shock inspired. Duh, obviously. But the thing is, with System Shock, well, I got a book even. That's how the book looks that I have. But the thing with System Shock is I quickly realized that I love how the universe looks, especially in the remake. The environments that are in the remake. But the thing I don't like about System Shock is how intrusive the modifications are for humans. And I quickly realized that, well, even if I try to look for like other references, because like a lot of it is like kind of, well, one is described by the author Rob Waters as like 80s B sci-fi, but a lot of it with System Shock is also like kind of I guess very corporate, very role oriented. So there was not many references that I could have find that would fit me, because I like to dress loosely. Nice pin. What pin? Oh, that one. Okay, never mind. I should stop. So the thing that I realized really quickly is you don't always have to chase something that's unique and makes you stand out. A model is supposed to represent you, and you are supposed to feel comfortable with a model. So that was a dead end, and I have spent on it like for probably like 2 weeks trying to come up with something that would work. And so I had let's just say a look in the mirror and thought like, who am I? And that's also kind of my chance to introduce myself, because it became kind of a part of this avatar. So I am a bit of a nerd. My life has been tied to computers pretty much since I've been 8 years old. I've been a contributor to PC Gaming Wiki, which is a Wikipedia for troubleshooting issues with video games. I've been a moderator in there. I have made a lot of edits in there. I have created widescreen hacks, alternative installers, and figured out how to run a lot of games. I've also reverse engineered some issues with games, namely like with Test Drive 6, Crysis, Alone in the Dark, and created fixes for them. A huge part of my life has also been speedrunning. I have created multiple auto splitters and tools to help out with multiple speedrunning scenes. And I have been a Unity programmer professionally for over 5 years now. So I quickly realized that I would like to have something in this avatar that represents at least some parts of it, and maybe also have it kind of included in the lore of an avatar. This one is going to be a bit more depressing though, but yeah, I've also moved things around to make it so that we get to an avatar faster. So I have been interested in sci-fi, especially, well, I have had an interest in sci-fi for a long time, especially if a movie or a game can make the universe feel believable. I've been a metalhead almost all my life. Things that are genuinely dark or sad speak way more easily to me than things that are happy. And then probably the darkest part is, because of a certain long, difficult period in my life that I have been through, a thought that always stuck into my head was essentially like, all of us are carrying some scars, some more, some less, but many of us just learn how to hide them. Once you get to know a person, you eventually start to notice them. And that kind of formed a plan for my avatar, which was the character has to be in a sci-fi aesthetic, preferably a hacker. If I lean into cyberpunk, it has to be a cyberpunk that tries to respect body structure, no modifications that massively change body structure. I value practicality. The character shouldn't have any illogically placed element just because they look cool. No halos floating above the head, no holographic elements, no bullshit neons that serve no purpose other than look cool. The character should have a long hair. It needs to be pleasant to look at from afar, but then once you get closer to it, when his jacket is off, it needs to show that the character has been through things in his life, and that these things have left their permanent mark on him. And then preferably colors dominated with dark shades, which in the end turned out not to be such a great idea. And then if there is an animalistic element, it has to be a fox. No silk buttons, which is a very odd one on any kind of the clothing, because they always make me feel uncomfortable. I always wear like pretty much clothes that don't have any buttons. And then the character should also show a bit of his rebellious side, that he often chooses his own path, even if in the end that path may not end up being so good for him. And then 30 years or older, height 178. Which brings us to my inspirations, because with that idea, it went way easier. So my inspirations were obviously Adam Jensen from Deus Ex Human Revolution and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and then Courier from Akudama Drive, both of which represent kind of a similar approach to how to do a character which looks cool, but underneath it has something that that emphasizes what the character has been through. And I got a book, or actually I had that book together with System Shock art book, and I essentially created like kind of a collage of things that I like, that I don't like, which included, for example, Adam's eye. I like the indentation that the Adam had on the forehead, but I didn't like the eyes. There is obviously a Ghost in the Shell screenshot, which I sadly didn't like. There is the arms, and then obviously more, and then like the essentially me shitting about many choices that are done with Cyberpunk. Sorry. Next. And then I started looking online for more anime and possible references, only to realize we are already living in a shit version of cyberpunk dystopia, and everything is flooded with AI and furry art. So you can go back in the VOD. And I wasted like days trying to find some additional references. So eventually I built up a doc, part of which you've seen at the beginning, and contacted an artist hoping they would be able to figure out the rest. I have to say there wasn't much. There wasn't exactly much to work with. So I was, very hesitant to contact an artist. But the artist has actually exceeded all my expectations. Which brings us to finally me being able to show you the model. And there's gonna be more. Yeah, well, let's go. So first element that we have, and pretty much everyone that's seen them said that they look amazing. Yeah, the boots. Yeah, pretty much everyone said that these boots look really freaking cool, and I agree. When I saw, this is something that the artist has came up with. And when I saw them, I was like, "Yep, this is great. It fits like the aesthetic that I definitely go for." So yeah, definitely, they are I hope they are comfy as well. If we go further, you can see a bit of I guess pattern forming with the palette that we are gonna be using. So a lot of it is dark, but it has the green element to it. And yes, there is a tail in there. So yeah, I really like the band that was attached to the left leg to form a bit of an asymmetry. If we go a bit further, there is one of those rebellious elements with a torn trousers, which is so popular with punk culture. And then obviously, oh no, it's the crotch area. Well, the first element that kind of reflects the old days. We have the dopefish. Yep, the dopefish lives and it's part of my model now. I'm actually surprised how well the artist has managed to recreate the dopefish. Yeah, so the dopefish is part of the model now. And then if you go a bit higher, you can also see that I've stolen a reference from System Shock. It's now part of the model. Yep, I have Tri-Optimum logo on my belt. DMC coming? No. And yeah, there is also elements like of practicality in here with the pocket that we have attached. I like also the suggestion that the artist has come up with a half glove. But then if we go to the other side, then you can also notice that the other arm is, well, a prosthetic at this point. And I can show you how the bottom part, I guess, looks now. There we go. So that's kind of how the bottom part looks. Tailgating is so sick. Well, you're gonna learn a bit more about it because it changed a bit. But if we go a bit higher, the jacket is a bit crazy that we have. So the jacket has technically a button, but the buttons are not, well, usable, not something that you use to pin, essentially. They are triangular, so it avoids the entire silver buttons. And there is technically, and I think we're gonna go for this now. Yeah, there's the ability to take it off, which reveals some more about the character, with the scars on the right side and then how the arm looks on the left. Then there is something that we could say it's a heart pump, but it's haven't exactly came up with an idea or what exactly is supposed to be. I just thought that it's really cool, and then obviously the harness, which is a bit of a practicality, which you can use it to attach weapons and stuff like that, although not a big fan generally of that. And finally, I guess for the most important part, if we go up, it's time for the face. And I've said that multiple times, that every time I've seen this character and its face, it made me smile. So, hi. So that's the face. And I love it. Yeah, it is so good. I love it. Although I am kind of worried that maybe the mouth tracking is not as good as I hoped it would be. But it has a lot of the elements that I wanted. So there is the triangle patterns on the face, which are sort of reminding of an origin from Deus Ex Human Revolution. And then obviously the green strain of hair, which is kind of more something that you would see with rebellious people. The eyes being artificial, but a bit animalistic, with a nice, I guess, brown that further emphasizes the fox, essentially. And then there is the ears, which are something that I really wanted to do, with them being having the 2 earrings, you know, a bit more of a metal rebellious side. The left one being, well, chipped, which shows that character also has been through things in his life. And now I'm gonna start calling an artist and just gonna tell you who the heck the artist was, although you can probably figure this one out. But yeah, the artist behind the model is Tsuno, and she's essentially the mama, as we often call it. She is in chat. She has done the design, the character sheet, the model art eventually, and then she has done even more. And I guess you're gonna hear how much she has done. But yeah, Tsuno has been amazing. I have technically yeah, I have technically well, let me gather my thoughts, damn it. So the thing is, right, we started working with character sheet, and then I was, you know, there was an option after the character sheet was done, or whatever, I want to go with a different artist or not for a model art. But you know, like I had, even though there were, you know, some issues that we ran into with Tsuno.
It's only a one-story fall.
Thanks, Lyren.
Guess I wasn't that smart.
Yeah, because she required a bit more time than I initially thought. You know, the work with Tsuno has been so nice that I couldn't think of like anyone else to work with on the character on the model art. So yeah, obviously went with Tsuno in the end. And I knew that even if that, you know, if she's going to need more time, then that's okay, because I think the results are worth it.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
I forgot that I have those sounds. Thanks, Aka, and thanks, Lyren. But then the rigger for a model was Kyoki, and yes, that costed a lot of money. I don't know if I would go with Kyoki now. Like they've delivered. It just required a lot of the iterations to rig the model. So there is that. I'm gonna go now and show you what is possible with this model, because we have a few toggles. So there is the angry one, but Tsuno's art is just so nice that even the angry one isn't exactly looking like angry. Then if we get a bit closer, there is the cry, and this one is really hitting hard. We have, and this one I don't know when I'm gonna use because it's so nice. Yeah, the love eyes. We have the classic also with the spiral eyes. And then I had like some of the really silly ideas of what we could do with toggles. So I probably have one of the weirdest toggle, which is this. Yeah, because I just like the idea so much that we came up with. Yeah, hey you there. Yeah, that's it. Pointing at. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty fun. It would be pretty funny. We had a salute as well, and we have that's also my.
Just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April
Thanks,
Fool's
Low Lame. We're gonna go to emotes eventually, because I have a bit of a plan with emotes. I haven't exactly planned out like any debut on. That thing's slow name. So I have this one as well, which is something that I also wanted to have. I guess now is the right moment, so things a slow name. And then there's sometimes moments when I get excited. Oh great, my voice is already giving up, and it has been already, oh okay, maybe like 30 minutes. Well, there is this. And we're not done yet. Oh boy, we're not done yet, but I think that's mostly what we have with the toggles. So there is the lore that I have written a bit, which is not exactly a great lore, to be honest, but I guess kind of describes the character. So yeah, the character is a fox boy character living in the end of the 21st century in the world that is run by mega corporations. It's the world where software ownership is almost non-existing, dominated by perpetual subscription services. Do you see where I'm going with this? In that universe, my character just wants to make sure that the software you once bought keeps running and that no updates to operating system will ever break it, much to the dislike of corporations which constantly try to make old software unusable. So that's the whole essentially idea that I had with kind of with an avatar as at the end in terms of like lore. But yeah, I guess you can see where this originates from, considering how I've been involved with PC Gaming Wiki for such a long time, and it's something that is definitely close to my heart to make sure that games keep on running. This brings us to the character sheet, the first version that Tsuno has made. And let me move out of the way. Which one is this? This one, yeah. So this is, let's go with zoom, magnify slide. So this is the first version of the character sheet. It was a bit different, but not by much. So yeah, it has like all of the elements that we had. It lacks the strain of hair, the green strain of hair, and the tail is obviously slightly different. I'm actually going to be posting it somewhere, or if you want, I can also send you that. Tsuno also has it on her vision. So that's the first version. Then we had the second version, slightly, which Tsuno has made, which is the final one. So it added the.
Just was wondering, is this?
God damn it! Thanks, Marcy. So we added the green strain of hair, and we modified the tail. Also, Tsuno has done some additional touches to the face, which made it look even prettier. I'm gonna, like, it's gonna be on the internet if you really want to look it up. So there is, this one.
Just was wondering, is this an out of season April Fool's?
Why do I have this as a sound? Thanks a lot, Pike, as well. But was that a? I don't even know what this was. Why this? From the cheers. Thanks, Flame, as well. So yeah, this is the character sheet. The character with and without a jacket, if you want. Also gonna have this available. There is the back as well.
Hey, just was wondering, is this
oh my God.
season April Fool's joke?
Yeah, okay. You know what's sad, that I have modified one of the slides, and I have added in there that if we reach 50 sub points, I'm gonna play Painkiller 2025. I think we're getting close to that. But yeah, it has the also Tri-Optimum logo stolen. So hopefully Night Dive doesn't sue me. Okay, let's go. Let's try and go really quickly.
Just was wondering, is
Thanks,
this,
Clash.
an
Oh my
out-of-season
god.
April Fool's
Okay.
joke?
Let's go. Try and go really quickly with pre-debut background as well, because it has some elements that maybe some people don't know about. So this was done by Yuzu Yukihira. That's a friend of Tsuno. I actually contacted Tsuno later, like if she knows someone who can do an art of a character with a background. But then she suggested that she has a friend who does really nice backgrounds. So I contacted Yuzu and was like, "Can you also do the character?" And she said no. So I was like, "Would you like to work on the character on this with Tsuno?" So that Tsuno creates the character and then you create the background. And she agreed to that. So the references for that is actually my own city. We kind of wanted to create, or at least I wanted kind of to create this kind of nightmarish version of a city. So there is this is how kind of a landscape looks, right? With many not very tall buildings. There is the Sorcerer from Katowice, which is the essentially opera hall. But then, and then obviously the other recognizable element being the Silesian Insurgents monument. So we included both of these elements, and then Tsuno has done has added my character on top, which I thought, would be, well, I guess once you see where the inspiration comes from, I thought you will understand why I wanted to go with this as a pre-debut art. So my inspiration for this is a scene in a Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, so that was essentially the inspiration, where Motoko just wakes up and, you know, I guess contemplates the the fragility of life. So that's what we did. And then I asked Yuzu whatever she wants to create a room for my background as well. So the room has some elements that you might recognize. There is, and I'm gonna go through them really quickly. On the right side, we have the Quake logo, because Quake has been also part of my childhood. There is in the background, if I move a bit, there is the Dragon Tooth from Deus Ex. Obviously, we have this already view of a city where development companies just went completely crazy and destroyed the landscape, essentially. And then there is also a tiny detail in there, which is Pyro GX, the small plane, which is Descent, which was essentially a plane from the first shooter I have ever played. So it's also very personal. We have also a day version of it, which Yuzu also has done. And then you can also actually see one of my few sketches and how I try to explain, like, what are we going for with this. So the bed was kind of inspired from System Shock. A bit of a geometry in here was also System Shock inspired, but I actually made a sketch for it. There is the corner, which is my actual corner, as in it's based on how the corner where I'm spending a lot of my life looks. And then having some inspirations from Cyberpunk as well, to keep it clean. But if you think this is nice, then oh boy, you're wrong, because the inspiration from the outside was essentially to have buildings that are kind of like these blocks that are stacked on top of each other, and the inspiration for that was Golem City from Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So essentially, development companies trying to figure out how to build something really, really quickly. So yeah, that's the background. Finally, also, we have a mascot, because I obviously went a bit crazy and thought like, let's just add a mascot as well. And we came up with this. So this is supposed to be Robotic Fennec the Fox. This one went really nicely. I mean, technically not, because there were like two different artists. The first one I really didn't like, but this one worked out fine. So this is the Robotic Fennec the Fox. The idea with this universe, essentially, that I had is that in cities you cannot own any pets. So what people do is they rely on robotic pets to give them a bit of comfort. And we named that pet Koda, because if I remember correctly, in Japanese it means friend, but it's also been a term that when I was trying to come up with an idea for it, it was a term in music that was very prominent in many of the songs that I've been listening to, and it also reminded me of coding, essentially. And that one was done by Ryota Ryu, who designed the mascot, and then I worked with him on many other projects. Inspiration for that was a sketchy from SK8 The Infinity, which I recommend highly. It's such a fun anime, and it hits me really hard. It's essentially something that I really like. So yeah, that's sketchy from SK8 The Infinity. But then the other inspiration was 808 from Hi-Fi Rush. So we wanted to combine essentially like these two elements, and then I kind of did a few sketches to try and when Ryota did some sketches, I then tried to like draw on top of it to better explain what I'm going for. And then he also created this art where Tsuno actually helped a bit as well to make sure that it looks nice. I haven't rigged it sadly, but maybe in the future we will. But yeah, there is like a few things that I wanted to look after when it comes to practicality, how the limbs connect to a body, where there's like a line that's supposed to emphasize that these might be parts of that are detachable, stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, Ryota did a really nice job. He's really nice to work with, which I will come back to later. We also have, and I have to switch to this, wait, a baby version of me, because people really like chibi, so this is the baby version. And this one was done by Avila, who has done an art and rigging. And we have a few toggles for that as well, which is the blush. There is the sad one. Then there is the blank expression. And then there is wow. And then if someone actually, raids, or I want to welcome someone, there is the wave, which is one of the few toggles that this has. But yeah, Avila was great to work with as well. I'm gonna come back to this later as well. Sadly, when I returned to the original model, the original model is so heavy that it takes a while to load. But yeah, we have emotes, and I'm gonna be unlocking those emotes in a moment. So we have emotes done by 808 Studio, So there is the derp, there is the punk, there is the tired one, there is the sure/smug, there is the fu, there is the pat, there is the actually, and then there is then the classic noted as well. And there is emotes that are done by Mew, which is the crying one, sad one. Then there is the heart love. Then there is Elmo Fire. There is the excited one, the angry one, and then there is Ho, which some of those might actually be on different tiers. I'll have to do it. I'll have to enable those in a moment. There is also a few emotes that are going to be on 7TV because they might not be Twitch safe. But yeah, I have also emotes done by Chirasazu, which is the Sippy, the Salute, and the Comfy one. There is my favorite ones done by Chu. I mean, the one with pointing a finger, the Sass one, the Ding Dong, and then there is the Noders. And then finally, Leah has done the EP, and Midnight Blossom has done the Shy one, which is the newest one that I have. And then there is more, because, you know, like, technically I have made more emotes than I have slots. So if you want, we can move some of those, so depending on the amount of sub points. And yeah, I've added this at last moment, 50 subs, and I play Painkiller 2025, or more like 50 sub points. So we have to see how many subscriptions we have, because it means that well, you would have to see on the page how many sub points we have. And then 65, which I don't think we're gonna reach, which is the hyper noders, but I think I'll just put it on 7TV. And I think that's it. There is the other credits in here, which is there is a logo that you could have seen during the transition, done by Casey Nova Art Design. There is the overlays also done by Casey. There is the stream schedule done by Mikozen, which you get to see probably soon. There is the Twitch panel below, also done by Miko. And then there is the scene transition, which is done by me using a pixel shader. I actually wrote an entire shader, which is like 300 lines long, because I thought it would be a bit cool to have something unique. So yeah, I wanted to, let me move myself. Wait, I need to find the position. Which one is this? I think it's this one, this one, okay. So yeah, I wanted to do thanks to people who exceeded expectations. So Avila has exceeded expectations. She has actually suggested a thing that you haven't seen, haven't pointed that one out. Let me point this one out. So she actually added a small element with this one, where if I smile, the tail wags. That was her idea. She didn't actually have to do that, but she did. So that I thought, you know, and she has been great to work with. We had a bit of a chat also. You might see a bit of a pattern when you look up those people that I worked with. A lot of them are Indonesian. Avila is one of them. Then Yuzu Yukihira, who has done backgrounds, also really cool to work with. Then Ryota, who has done a lot of like additional art with my character, and obviously designed the mascot. And we have become kind of friends by now, as in we talk not just about, you know, projects. So we got to know each other a bit. And then there is the two people that I consulted with and got the stupid ideas out of my head all the time, which is Dream Coco and Nepeta. Because, you know, I'm not an artist, they know more about art, so I relied on them to help me. Then there is obviously you, the viewer, because streaming is not fun when there is nobody to talk to. And finally, again, Tsuno, who actually has become a person who has who I've also been consulting with later on the ideas, and she's been great, like really great. We've become pretty much friends at this. Well, we have become friends because we talk about like other things, and yeah, she's been great. I again couldn't be more happy with a person who I relied upon to create the model art. And then there is the one additional part that I wanted to do because she asked me, and it's the promise that she actually asked me to make. So yes, I, Sui, promise I will use this model proudly and acknowledge that this model is a part of me. Then should have done a salute, honestly. Should have done a salute. Thank you a lot, Tsuno. You've been great. And yeah, this is kind of the end, unless you want to listen about me talking about movies, but I think maybe some other time. It's been a while. So yeah, that's the I think the entire thing wrapped up. So yeah, I'll just go to this. Oh boy, that's a lot of messages in the chat. I might have to adjust the opacity a bit.